Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to episode 13 of Stationeers. Last episode I was getting a little bit off track, which I find fine, because I highlighted a bunch of the other benches, the tool and the recycler and the centrifuge. Some of you shared funny stories about how your centrifuge bugged out. And yeah, that's pretty common. Honestly, have to say I've seen people experience that quite a lot. I have myself as well. So, given what Grumpy Joe said about gas mixing at certain temperatures, I decided, much to your all's chagrin, maybe not, but I've decided to somewhat change the way I'm going to do atmospherics in this base. So lucky you, lucky me, we have to experience some of this together again. So, what I'm going to do is very carefully measure the amount of gas that's in my base, and then release a mix of gas that corrects the atmosphere. This is an experiment. So basically, the gas sensor that you have, let me go crank one of these babies out. The gas sensor that you can craft can basically calculate the ratio of gas there is in the atmo of wherever. So let's get one of these sensors. We need iron and gold. Iron and gold. All right. No, that's lead. Sensors craft up real quick. All right. Oop. Nope. Stop. One of these sensors on gas sensor will be able to determine what ratio there is of whatever kind of gas we want. So if I hook up 3 readers that read oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, I will be able to determine what percentage of my base is what gas. So by default, of course, it does, temperature or pressure, but it can also do gas ratio. And the way I'd like to set it up is so that if, for instance, we want 70% nitrogen in our base, and I detect 63, we open up a digital valve or a backflow or something like that in the to allow nitrogen gas to go in through the inflow tank. And then if we detect that we've hit the mark, we'll put a tolerance, just like we did in the hydroponics, keep nitrogen between 68 and 72 to keep it around 70. And then, of course, when we hit the tolerance mark, the thing shuts off. And as soon as we hit the tolerance and the pressure, we're good. So what we would have is a back pressure regulator that turns on and off, or a pressure regulator that turns on and off, set to the pressure of the room, and then have it controlled by sensors that that turn on and off based upon whether the conditions are met. Meaning, basically, no gas mixing. Gas mixing isn't bad, necessarily. Certainly, I don't have a problem with it. But the issue is, if the temperature in my base is a moving target, it's going to be tricky to get a sort of, how should we say, a exact amount of gas percentage. And the issue is that percentage that we have will constantly change. So there is some gas in these pipes, but because I never actually mixed anything, there shouldn't be any leakage, let's say. So excuse the redesign, but given the new information that I have, this will serve us better in the long run. All right, so I've removed all these pipes. And then I suppose what I'll want is to double check to make sure that we haven't, you know, screwed the pooch and mixed gases. That couldn't hurt. So let's go ahead and do that. And also, let's get rid of this stupid frame. We don't really need it there. I don't even know why I have steel sheets, but all right. So let's check on that right now while eating a potato. Somehow chewing it through our hood. And then I think I left my night vision goggles on. Let's see. Yeah. We did leave them on, and they ran low on power. But I'll fix that later. That is less important than staying on task. All right. Oxygen is pure oxygen. Carbon dioxide is pure carbon dioxide. And nitrogen is pure nitrogen. Ta-da! We haven't screwed anything up. I was careful about cross-contamination. All right. Perfect. Let's see. I should also probably create paint. So I can color code things. So I will eventually show you the quote-unquote proper way to create paint. But the improper way, the proper way, let me show you, is to create, I don't have, it's to install, where is it? Is it even, no, it's not even in this list. A chemistry station on your bench, create powders, and different powders, like from flowers, for instance, will create different colors. I will show that process once. It's annoying, and as long as you can just create all colors of paint by shoving iron into it, that's exactly how I'm going to do it, because it's easier. It's much easier. So speaking of iron, where is my iron? I guess I really don't have any iron at the moment. So the easy way to create paint is in the tool bench or the tool manufacturer, and then all you do is you create a spray can. I should also probably have a locker at this point. So let's go find that in the list. And of course, more iron. And we ran a little low on iron, so we gotta replenish. What is this, no, that's also iron. Looked like nickel for a second, but it is not. So a locker is a good way to visually store a lot of items, whereas the little chest that you start off with is static and all. I mean, they don't move around, but I don't particularly love them for displaying. No, I only want one locker. Contents and all that. So, Mr. Locker. Oh, I need 2 lockers to make a large. And there's my spray can of green. And this will allow us to color code things quite nicely, in fact. Alright, let's get some more iron through the system. Turn off what we don't need. So, the idea behind a master pipe is the way that pipes work. This is a little, I wouldn't call it an exploit, a trick, maybe, at best. But the way these pipes work is they sort of inherit the color of the pipe that's in your hand. So I'll show you what I mean. If I, no, I don't want to throw that. Yeah, that's fine. If I have 13 pipes, or let's just put one down. If we have one pipe here, and we paint it green, for nitrogen presumably, and we pick this pipe up, it's a green pipe, right? If I pick the other 12 pipes up, like this, they're all green pipes. Kind of nice, right? You can have sort of an infinite amount of with one spray of the can, as long as you're careful about how you're spending your resources, you can have an infinite amount of a single color of piping. So I think that's pretty cool, personally. But yeah, and what I'll do is start color coding my pipes just so they make a little bit more sense. And in fact, I'll color code everything. So what I'll do is I'm going to keep a few different stacks of pipes. I'll keep oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide pipes, all sort of their own color. But the nitrogen tank and the nitrogen atmospherics all can become green, right? And then, let's see. I forget. Carbon dioxide, I think they have as gray. Let's double check. Carbon, yeah, gray, and oxygen is white. Okay. I have that as a point of reference. All right, so let's make some gray and white paint too. We're going to need that as well. And of course, the labeler helps as well. And then there's also a pipe labeler. I'll demonstrate that in just a minute. That wouldn't be here, though. It would be on this. All right, a pipe label. And all of this is very useful to sort of label what you're doing so that you don't forget. It's very clear at a glance. If anything goes wrong, you can troubleshoot it. It is the programming equivalent of commenting on code, which any programmer will tell you that they never do enough of, and it is very, very important when they inherit a project that it gets done. All right. So back to what I was doing. We're not going to need that much white paint because a lot of this stuff comes white by default. Put the white paint away, and then for carbon dioxide, we will gray it up. Already looking nicer, right? I think so. Then the pipe labeler is so that you can slap this on a pipe like this. Well, I don't have pipe in the other places, but all right. Follow along, and then grab my little labeler. Nitrogen. And now it's very clear. Not only is the pipe green for the color of nitrogen, but the pipe is literally labeled as nitrogen. And that would be the way to have a very, very nice looking base, in my opinion. All right, so what I'm going to do is let's paint some more master colors. And all these we're going to turn back to yellow. So for master colors, we're going to want some white pipes and some gray pipes. And now when I pick these up, I have to pick them up and keep them separate, because if we combine them, they'll turn to whatever I'm holding in my hand. And the purpose of this is so that I can not have to spray paint any more pipes of these three specific colors anymore. I will have pipes of that color. So you keep your master pipes in... And I could also have a master of yellow, for instance, but you keep your master pipes probably in a locker because they take up a lot of room. You don't want to carry them out around forever. And there you have it. So let's get, let's continue. It's funny that I walked away. I'm actually going to need these master pipes, though. I was demonstrating how to keep them safe and sound. Let's pretend. Jetpack on. Jetpack Splash. All right. So what we need to do is to put some pipes down for the other gases. So we need the carbon dioxide. And then I'll leave one down for a master. And then we'll need oxygen. And we can likewise label it. And while I'm working, what I can do is just leave a single pipe on the floor installed so that I don't lose my master and have to use more paint. Okay, let's grab the labeler. Come on. And we'll drop a label here and drop a label here. Now, of course, I know what's in these. I understand the color coding. But if you were playing multiplayer and you were designing a system, let's say you were designing atmospherics and someone else was designing power grid, they might not know your schema and you might not know theirs. So I'm not sure white text on white label is all that great, but whatever. But now you don't need to know the schema. You can just see what's going on at a glance quickly. All right, so we have our three gases that are going to make up the chief of the atmosphere in the base. Now we have to have pressure regulators. And I already have two. Oh, I already have enough. I made more than I needed. So what these are going to do, we are going to set the pressure regulators up a bit, like this. And regular old pressure regulator. 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. 1 for each gas. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm going to need to move these a little bit, only because I don't want the pipes to be ugly and sticking out of the side of the base. Let's plan for it to be pretty down the line and not ugly. All right. Drop the rest of our pressure regulators. We're not going to need them for the moment. And I'm going to correct one pipe at a time. So instead of a straight pipe there, we're going to want a corner. Just so that it's not visible from anywhere. And we'll correct it one at a time so that the colors don't bleed. Alright. And now as you can see, if we were outside, we wouldn't see pipes sticking through the base. They look nice. Okay, I thought I had... Okay, I put that away. Now that I have a bunch of white pipes, I can sort of prototype this right now. So it's not complicated. It's just, I need 2 more pipes like that. 1 for each. All right, let's color the white stack here, gray. And then we can put that down. Go. And then let's color... Oh, we already have green pipes. Perfect. It would help to have just like a stack of each color, honestly. But what I'm doing here is just so I don't accidentally remove my master pipe, I can put them back down and install them. And of course, they're not going to stay there. I mean, that's temporary. All right, so these pressure regulators here are going to get set to the atmosphere of the base, or the pressure of the base. So we'll set it to 110. And it's going to be a while until I actually pressurize the base. I'm just setting up the systems to allow for it. Why will it be a while? I don't really have enough gas to do it. We need to keep pumping gas. What I could do to speed up the process is to feed the system gas that I create through the admin console, just so that we're not waiting forever. So these back pressure regulators are going to be regulated by logic systems. And I'm not going to write an IC system. I'm just going to do simple logic. And basically the logic is going to go, it's going to say something along the lines of, if the ratio of the gas is low, if the pressure is low, just pressurize, just like release all the gases. And yes, this will make a lot of CO2. And initially the base is going to be a high percentage of CO2. But if I design it correctly, it will be self-correcting. So once it hits a certain amount of pressure, the back pressure regulators, the intakes, are going to pull atmosphere all the time from the base. And then the pressure regulators will only open the valves for the gases that need a higher percentage concentration in atmosphere, meaning that initially our base will be 33, 33, 33, and a third, whatever. Roughly 33% of each of these gases, and that's fine. That's how I'm going to design it. That's fine. That's actually breathable too, mind you. 33% carbon dioxide in real life wouldn't be so great for you, but in this game, it's a little less sensitive, just because it's tricky. Really, it's honestly tricky to get a really nice gas mix in a base, which is why it's less sensitive. And then what will happen is the carbon dioxide regulator will determine that its ratio is too high, and the valve will shut off. And in fact, the same will happen with the oxygen. If we have 33, 33, 33, we'll have too much oxygen as well. And the valve for oxygen will shut off. And basically what will happen is that the valve for nitrogen will just keep flowing. And the only thing in the intake will be nitrogen. And the only thing, and then, the whatever's in the atmosphere will get pulled. And eventually it will correct to the right percentages of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and oxygen. It will take a very, very long time, but it will be more self-correcting than gas mixing, because gas mixing doesn't know what's in your atmosphere. It's just trying to put a certain percentage into it. Whereas this system will be aware of what percents are in your atmosphere, and it's trying to auto-correct for it. Yeah, so I guess that's what we're going to do. What I do need to do is decide what is going in these other tanks. And what color they should become. Because I don't think there's enough colors to label everything. In fact, I know that's true. So what I'm going to do is quickly take my labeler and label my filter units. Just something that I can remember. Nitrogen tank. CO2 tank and oxygen tank. Okay, that is set up so far. Then for the other gases, we have nitrous oxide, NO2. We have X. We'll have water. So what I think I'm going to do is this should be the water tank, just because it's like this side will be the things we want that you kind of need for survival. Water tank. And these will be like the weird gases. So, well, I guess it's, we'll call it X tank. NO2 tank. And then, let's see. If we, oops. Filter. Carbon dioxide, nitrogen, nitrous oxide, pollutants, volatiles. I guess they're labeled as pollutants and volatiles, so we'll just call it Voila. I need to spell that right. Volatiles. And pollutant tank. And an O2 tank. And what am I missing? I'm totally... You guys would know. Pollutants, oxygen, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, water. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't want to open my helmet. I'm just typing.
Light off. Helmet closed. Oxygen critical. Low pressure.
Okay, thanks. Oh, stop with the warnings. Yeah, I got it. Don't open the helmet. In fact, let's go and lock the mask so that doesn't happen again. Alright, what am I looking for? I'm looking for CO2, nitrogen, nitrous oxide, pollutant volatiles, water, carbon dioxide, nitrogen. I think it's X. Because pollutants, yeah, right? Maybe I'm wrong. I can always correct it. X tank. X is make, yeah, okay. Now that that's done, we could start to do the rest of the plumbing. So when the gas comes in like this, what will happen is after it comes it through the pressure regulators, it becomes a mix. So what I'm going to need to do, I'll do it here, is to... Yellow will be the undetermined, indeterminate gas mix. It will be like the, this is just gas. This is just, yeah, we're not sure what this is. So now we have to master the yellow. Done. And then we've decided that the ones up front are inflow. And this part is a little bit easier. So this will... Let's design it so it looks nice, even though it's going to use more pipe. Now, my only concern is that pressure regulators alone don't work very fast, but you probably... It's healthy not to have the ability to have quick changes in your base anyway for atmosphere. So it's like, I would want it to pressurize faster, but I also don't want to violently pressurize it or anything like that. Things worth doing sensitively are also worth doing slowly, is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. Alright, and then a little pipe corner, and corner it in like that. Oh, and we'll kind of need the, yeah, alright. So now, what that looks like is all the gases that are pumped through these pressure regulators that are turned off, mind you, and they're unpowered, so nothing's coming through right now. Well, that's not true. This pipe right now has atmosphere in it because they're hooked up to passive vents, and passive vents are going to let atmosphere passively pass through them. So right now, if we check this pipe, just to prove my point, there is just... This pipe network just has atmosphere in it. Totally ambient atmosphere. It's going to be a little bit, maybe... The temperature's going to lag behind what the atmosphere is, but that's fine. And when we start the system, what we're going to do is turn it on. Before we start anything, we're going to vent every last ounce of everything out of the base, which will take a while. So what this is doing is all the gas that these pressure regulators push into the base go into this intake pipe. And maybe yellow is not the right color for that, because what that intake pipe is its atmosphere. Purple? Khaki? Brown? I don't know. We'll have it be purple.
Hunger. Caution.
Thank you. I am glad to know I'm hungry. Alright. And Now we have yet another color to keep track of. But I think it's worth separating because your atmosphere pipe should be treated differently than, I guess we already had white paint and green paint, whatever, it doesn't really matter. It should be treated differently than the other colors. You know, the regular yellow is kind of like it's in progress, and your purple is actually mixed gas, purposely mixed. You're supposed to breathe this kind of gas. So we'll set that up. After I nom on a baked potato. Wow. Not all foods take this long. I was just very hungry. Yep. Almost the whole potato. Alright, so what I need to do now, if we're going to change that color, is...
Jetpack on.
Now the vent, for aesthetic purposes, the vent that we built can probably stay white. It doesn't need to be purple. Just the pipes behind here ought to adhere to the colors that they should inherit. Alright, so here we go. Captain Purple Pipes reporting for duty. Hope purple is not a color that people usually use for a specific type of gas. But it doesn't really matter as long as there's continuity between my choices. I could have had nitrogen be white and oxygen be green. It really... Gas doesn't have a natural color, so to speak. Most of them don't. It's not like I'm installing mustard gas in my base. That would be different. Alright, T-junction this. And then corners. Oh, the window's still in there. There's a lot of gas moving around right now. Alright, I don't have enough for this master pipe. Oh yeah, I do. Here's more. Now you're all purple. Ha ha ha. Alright, so now we can see the difference between the gas that's pumping around our filters and the gas that we ought to breathe. And also what I'm going to do is to have a corner piece go up here so that we can feed gas to the levels above. But I'm not going to use up all my pipe because I need to keep master colors. Let's see if I can't just eat the rest of this potato. Nope, 1% left. Well, guys, that's about all the time I have for this episode. I know I didn't get a whole lot done, but I did make some executive decisions about how the atmosphere will be treated and filtered in the base. This is, like I said, an experiment, and it might not work out the way I want it to, but I'm interested to set up new systems given your input. So thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully I make strides towards getting this more built out. If you have any tips, tricks, or feedback for me, drop me a line, and I do hope that you tune in next time. So thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all later. Adios.